I think we're live. Hey, I'm
Hello.
Jorge. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Luis Tijerina. I'm basically I work as a clinical systems analyst for
Okay.
the Doctor Hospital of Renaissance, which is a local hospital. I
Okay.
guess one of the largest here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Okay. How did you get that job? Just talk
Uh,
about yourself a little bit.
well, myself, I have a bachelor's in computer science and a master in computer science. So after graduating from my master's and working at my university here at formerly UTPA for a while, I started applying to different jobs, more for a full-time development position, software development actually. And my boss at the time at UTPA recommended that I apply over there because he used to be an employee at the hospital.
Okay, where you
So I
work right now.
applied. I got interviewed. I actually, it's a curious story because I got the job the same day that I interviewed. Like they let me know right away.
That's pretty good then. Can you tell us a little bit about your job? What do you do on a daily basis? Like, just give us a feel of like what somebody with your degree can do. Like,
Okay, the degree in computer science is pretty diverse. So the degree can help you get a position in anything related. You can be a network engineer to a programmer to just an IT support guy.
okay.
And I pretty much what I've worked before is mostly in the web development area. So I guess that's
Okay.
pretty much what they took into account when hiring me. That I had that web development experience and all around like database knowledge, networking, web development, all of that. So what I do on a day-to-day
Uh,
basis, I work in the department for clinical informatics, which is pretty much we build and support for the electronic medical record system.
so
So
basically,
everything, yeah, all the records in the hospital are electronic now.
you create
So
the
they
databases, or it's just what I'm,
no
or
we do not create it. It's like the system is actually provided by an external by an external provider called Cerner.
third
So
party. Okay.
we have a bunch of people that both build, develop, and maintain, and also give support to these applications.
Okay.
So we have people that come from the clinical field, like nurses, that were actually trained in IT or have a certificate and can actually build the support for these applications. And we also have people from the more technical computer science side or computer engineering that can actually make write reports, write code, um, set up the networks, whatever that is a little bit more technical on the engineering or software side. So I'm
Okay.
one of those technical employees. What
All
I
right. So,
do is I I build and design documentation for both the physicians and the nurses. So basically, whenever somebody is taking note about a patient, let's say they want to follow up on the symptoms, we design a form for each case. So
mm,
you have to keep in mind your principles of user interface design because you don't want to you don't for example you don't want them to have to do that many clicks to get around or scroll that much or maybe miss a step in the form. So you kind of have to apply that. And besides from that, I also work in also build some. I write some reports.
okay.
So basically, they have their own proprietary language, which is kind of a mixture between your standard SQL, the query language for databases.
Okay.
It's pretty much what you use to extract information. So you have the select. You select different fields in a database to draw from, and you have some selection criteria to filter.
Okay. That sounds
So
pretty
they have
interesting.
yeah, so they have that, and they have a procedural language on top.
And what is that
So
like?
like a C style language. So it's a C style language, but you can have
Like object
queries.
oriented?
Yeah, you can have the queries running while you're running your program. So let's say your program needs to extract information about the number of patients that had certain illness. So you can
Yeah,
you
like
can
cancer
actually
or
build your
whatever.
program. Yeah, and instead of using like an interface or an API to interact with the database, you can just do it directly in the same code. So it's
Mm.
it's pretty it's pretty low
That sounds
level,
pretty cool.
and with low level I mean that it's pretty
That doesn't require a lot of input,
close.
or
Yeah, no, that is pretty close to the system,
oh, you
but
mean
it's not too abstract. Yeah, it's not abstracted like Java or something like that.
okay, like
It's
yeah,
pretty
like you basically like bare bones, kind of like assembly or something like
yeah,
that.
it's kind of
That what you mean? Like by low level
yeah,
language
kind
that
of kind of
doesn't
like
have
a
like
C style language. Like it doesn't have the object oriented or anything like
yeah,
that.
like, it's not like basically pretty. What you're trying to say?
Yeah, yeah, it's not pretty,
I
but
mean,
it does have a bunch of commands that make it a lot more accessible
okay,
to
gotcha.
non-technical people.
I mean, that sounds
So
okay. Go for it.
yeah, for example, if I don't know, if somebody needs a query to extract something like more clinical personnel, you can just like you can have just one of the technical people just write a query and they run the same thing every time. It's not that complicated.
Well, it sounds complicated to me, but I mean, then again, I'm a civil engineer, not a computer science, so I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it seems like you're pretty good at your job and that you really like it. And like from what you can tell, like I can tell that even if I don't know what you took in school, I can tell that a lot of stuff that you're doing in your job is very different from what you did in what you do what you did in school. Sorry. What is different? Like, what do you think is the major difference that you had to adapt from school to transition into the labor?
Well, the main difference is that in school they I see it this way, like in school and college they give you a pretty good and strong foundation to build on. So if you have, for example, you have a good computer science degree, there's going to be like a whole bunch of languages that you can learn, each one for a certain application,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of make you able to pick up one whenever you need to, instead of just teaching you that language and its applications. Just instead of just being application driven, they give you a really strong foundation so you can just
Go
self
forward.
learn whenever you need to. Yeah, if you need to apply those that knowledge to a certain, I guess, a certain field, you can just pick up a language or a tool or whatever with that foundation.
Mm,
So yeah,
I kind
most
of
of the languages most of the languages and tools that you use in the workplace, you don't learn in school. You have to learn them either by training or by yourself.
well, I think what you're trying to say is kind of like well, what I think is like in civil engineering, they don't teach you like a lot of like structures or a lot of water treatment. They teach you a little bit of everything. I think that's what you're trying to say, right? Like it's kind of like that, and that way you can like then go in depth into what you really like.
Yeah,
So
in a
like,
way, but like I guess like every engineering field, it's pretty broad, and they kind of give you strokes of that. That way you can decide whatever you like, but also in that they give you the foundation, like the foundational knowledge, so you can pick up the more specifics that involve the language or the tools that you're using.
oh, okay,
So yeah,
yeah,
like like an engineer doesn't depend from if you're
okay.
using CAD or if you're using something like that.
No,
That's the same way that a computer scientist doesn't depend on Java or C.
yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, there's multiple tools, multiple ways to aid you into doing your job, and
Yeah, and the
basically,
school
what they
gives
teach
you a
you
tool
is
to adapt. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I was gonna go to. Like, basically, what they teach you is where to go to. Basically, like what they teach you is the way of thinking. Like,
yeah,
you can find your stuff here or there. You just need to know where to look at. Is that correct?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that sounds like kind of like a lot of engineering field, but I mean, I remember like for me thinking that engineering, that computer science, specifically on computer engineering, are pretty cool because you get to like you get so many fields and you can basically work in any field that you want because like a little store needs a computer engineer and anything like a hospital like you do like I don't know, tire shop, Walmart, I don't know. But for me, that's something really cool because a lot of engineering is like you are focused in certain fields and then you're screwed. You cannot diverge into that. Uh,
Yeah, I guess at this point, being a computer science is kind of like being a mathematician. Like what matters is the application you give it. Like you
mm,
can go on to be a researcher, you can go on to be a network engineer, a software developer. You can work in cybersecurity, you can work in IT in I guess IT infrastructure,
so
in the business side of things, business. What's it called? Business systems or something like that.
what is that business system? Is it like creating like software like for markets or like how do they say it? Like economic indexes or something like that? Or I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
guess so.
that's
Or
just a very
yeah, or
broad
some
question.
people also go into like doing analysis of the business structures. That wouldn't be something I know too much about. Like I've but then I found out like that is not really something I know of. It's more for someone with those applications.
No, I get
Like
what you're saying.
there's a couple different degrees or certificates for that, and maybe if I was a person with a business background and then I started IT, but I'm 100% programmer, I think, I guess.
Well, yeah, everybody has their own thing. Like for me, like I like structures. Like I'm not saying I'm good at structures, but I don't imagine myself doing other stuff. I totally get what you were saying. What do you hate from your job? What do you think like, oh my God, I didn't think about this when I did computer science? What do you like? This sucks from computer science. And also tell us what do you love about it. But first go with what you don't like. What do you like? This
Well,
sucks. Like I never imagined this.
I think in any job there's gonna be you're gonna need to do a couple of menial tasks like something that basically anybody can do, but you have to do it yourself. Like in my job, I have to after I create a script or an application or a form, I still have to go and set it up so people can have access to it.
Oh, people are lazy as hell.
So yeah,
That's
so
what.
you so yeah, you kind of need to do basic tasks to get it to work, but that's not that exciting. Like it's not as exciting. Like I don't know to like once for example once you have a website, if you want to create different pages, you have to copy and adapt a lot of the code, and that's not fun. The fun part is when you're actually solving the problem, assessing the needs, doing the design, and doing the actual coding. But once that is done, what's left is just adapting whatever's left, or
That sounds boring. Yeah,
creating yeah, or creating documentation for that. That's the not fun part. But I guess it's not that bad since I still get to do the fun part.
I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Like for example, like for me, I whenever I do websites, I just suck at everything. I use Dreamweaver. Uh, but yeah, I've been trying to learn some programming more, but it's just very busy. Um, Now, what do you love the most? I guess you already answered that question with the.
Yeah, the thing that I like the most is problem solving. That's what
Yeah, I
I
think
guess
that's.
I guess it's something I'm just naturally good at, and I cannot say that about many things. There's like there's way yeah there's way too many things that I like that I wish I could be just talented at, and I'm not. I just
Yeah.
try really hard.
Oh, well,
But yeah, problem solving. I think I like once they start describing a problem, that's when my like the kind of cogwheels start turning.
it's good. You know, I think that's one thing with like not only engineering, like with all the STEM fields, like you cannot solve everything, you cannot know everything, but the way you think, the way we think as engineers, as people who have this type of scientific degrees, is just to find a solution in a way that makes sense, and that we don't need hand holding like a lot of other careers. That I'm sorry, but it's true. Like Other careers are just useless. I'm sorry. They are
Well, I don't. Well,
not
I wish I
useless,
was. I wish
but I
I
mean,
I had the talents of other careers, but I
yeah,
don't.
of
Like, for
course.
example, I'm not a very good salesman or persuader. I don't know.
But what I'm trying to say is that, like, let's say, for example, that you decided to be a salesman, or you decided to be one of those things that you mentioned. Like, that's one thing that engineering fields and like STEM fields teach. You can learn how to do anything as long as you have the time. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of like other degrees don't teach. Um, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think engineering comes equipped with a lot of both critical thinking and problem solving, because you basically have to be one in order to be an engineer, a software engineer.
Yeah,
You have to be a good problem solver, a good critical thinker. You you have to be able to see something and see the problem, see how to see the solution.
I get you. Uh,
Yeah. I
one
guess
last
kind
question.
of like how a graphic designer is able to visualize whatever they need to do. You have to see the solution when you see the problem.
Yeah. Oh, basically, yeah,
Well, go ahead.
like a backwards thinking, like you see the solution and then develop, you see the problem and develop a solution based on that. Um, one last question before, I mean, we cut off.
Mhm.
What would you recommend to like to people who want to do computer science? What do you think they should focus the most? What do you think they should do like to get their dream job? Like based on, let's say that I'm like, I want to be a computer science, whatever. What do you think is the most important thing to be a computer science scientist, computer engineer?
That's a hard question.
I mean, just say something.
I guess just try to persist. Try to I guess if you're gonna be a computer scientist, you have to keep learning. That's one of the main things about the job, and I guess you can also say that about engineering. You can also say that about medicine, science, because new things keep popping up all the time, and especially in computers, since we have the Moore's law, it's kind of like an exponential increase. So you have to be able to be a self learner. You have to be able to learn by yourself and to have a to acquire that strong foundation that's gonna enable you to learn.
Okay.
Because yeah, things keep changing all the time. Like even if you stay at the same job, they're gonna ask different things from you, and who knows, you might go into a different field of computer science on your next job. You're gonna have to be able to learn and adapt.
Very fast. I
So yeah,
agree with you.
I think that's one of the main things, and like especially if you have if you're in a degree that is not specialized, like if you're just playing computer science like me, you're gonna have different. It's gonna be like a little tour of the field. So you're gonna have like a computer architecture class. You're gonna have a programming class. You're gonna have a web development class,
I get you.
networking. So you have to be able to do all of those at least decently. So
Yeah, no,
decently enough to graduate.
I totally get
Like after that, you can decide where you're going to. But at least at school, you have to still get that A or B at least.
Uh, I totally get you. Which ones do you think are the most important classes from your career, from your master? Which ones are the ones that are like, dude, you need to know this crap, like for every computer science field? Like, just name one or two that you think like the foundations that you need to really have your shit together.
Well, we have the foundation class, computer science one and two. That's basically
Of
where
course,
they teach you. Yeah, that's basically where they teach you what all the key programming concepts and all the data structures. And then after that, there's one called algorithms and data structures, which is basically the theoretical backbone of computer science. So it's the algorithm, and you have to be able to solve problems, prove them
like
mathematically,
from by induction and all
and
that.
measure, yeah, all that, and measure the performance of an algorithm.
I have no
Like
idea what is
in
that.
computer science, we measure that we measure an algorithm by worst case. So
Okay.
the worst possible case has to run at least at a certain pace. So if you have like an exponential amount of time that it takes according to the number of cycles, that's not good at all. It's gonna take too long.
But
So
this
you're
is
gonna
work.
have,
Okay.
yeah, you're gonna have to strive towards like a logarithm or logarithmic time, or I don't know if you can understand me, but something like that. You have to
I
strive
kind
towards
of
a
get
better
the
time,
idea,
better performance.
and you made me feel stupid right now. Thank you. Nah, I'm joking.
But
No,
yeah, it's something like
it's
that.
just not my field, but I kind of get what you're saying. It's kind of like optimization, right? Like basically,
Yeah,
you always try to get the best possible outcome. It's the same like for structures. I mean, you can have multiple solutions for the same building, but at the end of the day, you need to choose one that is going to be cost effective, it's going to be fast, and I'm assuming something similar
yeah,
for computer science.
yeah. So
Um,
it's basically teaching you all the basic problems and algorithms in computer science. And after that, I guess one of the most important, more applied electives will be web development, which is I think it's one of the most necessary ones today nowadays.
do the websites.
Huh?
The websites.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty useful, like at least
And
just to learn the concepts and the basics.
okay.
At least I guess at least learning how to set up a website, run code server side, client side, and connect to a database. At least that you have to know.
Just use Wix, dude.
Huh?
Just use Wix.
I guess you can. I guess you can.
Hell no.
Yeah, once you know how to
Actually,
program, you can just go to W3 Schools, that website, and just you can just learn it all or recall it all from there.
yeah. Actually, what are your thoughts on those type of like platforms, kind of like Wix, Foursquare? I don't know the name of the other ones. Uh, what are your thoughts?
No,
I
no,
mean,
I recommend that one, W3 Schools. That has all the basics.
yeah, okay. All right, then. This was pretty good, I think. We really got a lot of insight into what you do. For everybody who wants to pursue a career in this, like, we hope this video was helpful, and thank you, Luis,
Thanks for having me.
for having the interview. A good one.
Thanks. It was fun.
Okay, guys.